Hey guys, it's Crumb, and in this video I want to talk about the bosses you should be killing on Old School Runescape. Either because these bosses are going to make you a lot of money, they have some cool unique item drop that you want to get, or they're just overall good experience while doing some bossing. If you disagree with me at any point in the video, leave a comment below letting me know the bosses you think you should be killing on Old School Runescape. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So for this one, we're going to be talking about Dagannoth Kings. The nice thing about Dagannoth Kings is that they're very easy and kind of relaxed to be doing, and they make some nice money. However, the downside is if you're new to PVM, they're a little bit hard actually, but once you get the practice in, you're going to be just fine. So the nice thing about this boss is you'll make a guaranteed 1+ mil an hour if you have the Fremnik Elite Diaries done. If you don't have those done, then it's more dependent on your RNG, how often you get those rare ring drops like the Berserker ring and the Archer ring, but there's still good money overall. It's recommended to do these guys that you have the Trident of the Seas or a Blowpipe, that you have a DFS or a Crystal Shield at least, and that you have Guthans the Heal or an SGS if you have some more money. Keep in mind if you bring that Sarah God Sword, also bring runes for Blood Barrage and Blood Blitz. That way you can heal on Rex just in case your SGS doesn't actually hit. Now if you guys are new to this boss, when you first enter the cave, be careful because it's actually quite easy to get banged out really fast. And if it's your first time learning it, I almost recommend doing this with a friend. That way you can learn to understand the rotations, when you should be healing, and then you'll be able to kill them really fast, and then you can start doing them solo. You know, get a Slayer task of like 200 of these things, and if you get lucky, you'll walk out with like 8 mil GP. So Dagannoth Kings are a really good boss if you're looking for something that's leisure that you can solo. For this one, I wanted to talk about the Kraken Boss. So one of the big downsides to the Kraken Boss is he has some high requirements. You need to have 87 Slayer to kill him, and you also need to be on Slayer task. But those things aside, I really like this boss. A, because he is super easy to get the pet from. On average, it only takes around 46 hours to actually get the pet. And you can kill 65 Krakens per hour, which will make you over 1,000,000 GP an hour. However, that does depend on the drops that you get. If you're really unlucky, you're not going to make that, but that goes for every single boss on RuneScape anyways. And a lot of people don't actually have the Kraken pet because they skip this task simply because it isn't the best Slayer XP that you can be getting. Now for anybody actually interested in doing the Kraken, a few tips and tricks for you guys. You want to bring the Slayer Helm imbued. You want to either have a Trident of the Swamp or a Trident of the Seas, and bringing high magic defense gear like Armadillo if you have the money, or Carils, or even D'hide will really do the trick. And then you want to lure the tentacles and kill them first, and then you want to attack the actual Kraken, and you just mage him, you rinse and repeat, you do that the whole time. He's a really easy and relaxed boss to actually kill. You also want to always make sure you're above 35 health. He doesn't hit often because he has very low accuracy, but his tentacles can combo you out while he is still alive. But really, super easy boss to kill, he's not hard to win at all. He'll make you a decent amount of money, and you could get that pet fairly quickly. In my book, this is one you should always do on a Slayer task. Zillion Ax is my favorite boss on Old School Runescape. She's found in God Wars Dungeon, and like the God Wars Dungeon bosses, you need, fairly high combat levels to kill her. You're only going to be using range to kill Zillion Ax, so if you have a high range level, that's really going to benefit you here. And she is a really good boss to solo. So she is a really hard boss because she really hits high with melee. She'll easily hit 20s over and over again super quick on you. But if you range her, you can use this hidden run method where you hit her with the bow, and then you run away and you shoot her again, and you won't ever actually get hit by that melee attack, making her really easy to kill and actually really quick to kill, especially if you have that high range level. Or if you happen to be super rich and have a T-bow, you're going to pretty much 3-hit Zillion Ax and you're going to make some crazy money that way. So one thing to keep in mind about Zillion Ax is that really you make most of your money from her rare drops. So what that means is if you want to do Zillion Ax for money, you need to stick with her for a long time, and in the wash it should work out between 2 to 2.5 mil per hour. As for the gear, it's really not that much. Some Blessed D'hide, a Verk's Helm, a Rune Crossbow, and a DFS or Crystal Shield will get you through Zillion Ax just fine. And you always want to keep high health when you're fighting Zillion Ax, just in case she gets too close to you and hits you with that really nasty melee attack. Definitely a really good boss to solo. If you're looking to have some fun with a few friends, like 2 to 4, Corporal Beast is definitely a good option for you. So one cool thing is Corporal Beast was actually the strongest attackable monster on Old School Runescape for a very long time, up until the release of raids. And because of that, of course, he has some really cool mechanics, and he has a really good drop, which is the Spirit Shields, the Elysian Spirit Shield being worth 680 million GP, which can make you very rich if you manage to get that drop. Now, the Corporal Beast is very, very hard to solo. You know, unless you're Wooks, or you're just really good at PvM, you're going to want to do this with a small team of people. Although it can be really fun too to actually kill Corp in a giant mass of people, and often you'll see like Twitch streamers doing this. As for some of the cool mechanics, the Corporal Beast actually has damage reductions for nearly all sorts of attacks. And he releases this stupid little annoying dark energy core that will heal himself and attack you at the same time, which really makes him super annoying to kill. You know, if you plan on doing the Corp, you want to have at least 85 in melees, 80 plus range, and you want to have 80 plus magic because that will actually help your magic defense a lot so you won't get hit that often. You know, I'm not going to talk a lot about the strategy here because it's like a half-an-hour video on itself and there's plenty of them already, just because Corp is such a complex boss. But if you're really looking for a high-level PvM challenge where you can make a lot of money if you get really lucky and get the good drops, then Corp is definitely a boss that you want to consider. Raids was a massive update when it first came out, and Jagex put a lot of marketing force behind it, and that should show how much really went into raids. So one thing I love about raids is that there's lots of different bosses that you actually kill in it, and then they have that crazy end boss, and also there's tons of these different little puzzle rooms that you complete when you're doing raids, so it doesn't get boring quick. Also, it's very nice because you can solo it, or you can do it in a team, or you can even do it in a massive team like your entire clan chat. One thing to keep in mind if you do it in a really big team is that you really have to be coordinated to do raids effectively. So if you're in it to make money, it's best to do it in a smaller team or solo. You know, the other nice thing about raids is it actually scales to the average player levels. So you don't have to be a super high combat level player with all these super high skilling stats to do raids. You can hop right in and have some fun and make money. Raids is currently, at least from what I understand, around 3 mil an hour, so it hasn't really changed much over the last year. And from raids, you can get the best items in the game, the Twisted Bow, Dragon Claws, Elder Maul, and so on. And you also make a lot of money off the common drops. It has some really good drops there. There's also a lot of strategy to it, so if you really like getting into game strategy, raids is a great place to spend a lot of your time. And there's a lot of different little quirks that you learn to do this fast, so it's really something that you'll make more money as you get better and better at it, simply because you're going to be able to complete the raids faster and optimize your rewards at the very end. Zora is a great boss if you're looking to make money. He earns over 2 million GP an hour, and he's solo only, and you fight him in an instance, so you'll never have to worry about somebody crashing you or there not being a world available. But Zora is a hard boss to learn. However, like any other boss in the game, once you actually learn how to fight him properly, it's really not that hard, and you can kill him really quickly. The thing about Zora is he has these different phases that he goes through, but there's plenty of guides on YouTube that will teach you how to deal with each one. And Zora has some very valuable drops. On top of the 2 mil an hour, because his uncommons are so good, you might get one of the rare drops, which are 1 out of 512 chance. And those are the Tanzanite Fang, the Magic Fang, the Serpentine Visage, and the Uncut Onyx. For Zora, I would recommend that you have at least 85 magic and 75 range, and some okay gear. You don't need anything crazy if you know what you're doing. So if you guys were looking for a really good boss that you can grind for a lot of money, Zora, the level 725 snake, is definitely a good option for you. And that is unfortunately all the time we have to talk about bosses you should be killing on Old School RuneScape. There's plenty more awesome bosses that you can do in this game to either get pets or money or unique drops. And if you can think of any, leave them in the comment section below so other people can see them and maybe go and kill those bosses. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I have plenty more content planned to come out soon. And until next time guys, love, peace, and chicken grease.